In the last class, we have started how we can sort the list of given numbers. List of given numbers. What was the logic we have discussed? Suppose some numbers are there like this. What is the logic? We have to compare adjacent elements. Whenever left side element is greater than right side element, we have swapped. Okay, like this, we will be getting like 15 8 comparison, then 8 15, next 15 17, no swapping, next 17 9, then swapping. Now we will be getting 7 8 15 9 17. Then we have reached the end of the list. Then this is the maximum element. Next again we will start from here. Again left side element is greater than right side element, we will swap. Like this we will repeat. Finally we will not consider this 17. Why? Because this is the maximum element that should be placed at the last index position. It is already there, so we need not consider 17 again. We will continue from here up to this. Okay, then we will get 15 here. That is second maximum at the last but one position. Next again we will start from here. We will stop here itself. That is third maximum we will get in the correct position. Like this we will continue until we get all the elements get sorted, right? Next, how many times we have to repeat this one? This is one repetition, one pass. This is called as one pass. Okay, next this is second pass. Then two elements will get sorted. Three passes means three elements will get sorted. Five means five elements get sorted. Let us say we are having 10 numbers, total 10 numbers we are having, like 1 2 3 4 10 numbers we are having. After 8 passes, how many elements will get sorted? After 8 passes, how many elements will get sorted? After first pass, 1 element. After 8 passes, 8 elements. So now after 9 passes, how many elements will get sorted? 9. But what will be the remaining element? 9 elements means first maximum, second maximum, third maximum, like this. 9 maximums will be here. Okay, whatever the element remained, that will be the smallest element. So we need not perform 10th pass to sort that one. Why? Because only one element which is smaller than these all elements, so it will be the smallest element. Got it? So how many passes we will be having when we have 10 elements? 9 passes. If we have 12, 11 passes. If we have 15, 14 passes. If we have n elements, then n minus 1 passes. Got it? So n minus 1 passes. In each pass, what we are doing? We are comparing adjacent elements. That is, we are starting from here only, right? So this is stored in a list, isn't it? This is stored in a list. How we can access individual element? By using index. Index starts from index starts from 0. So 0th value we will be comparing with 1 index value. Okay. So let us say the name of the list is L. So L of 0 we will be comparing with L of 1. Next, L of 1 with L of 2. L of 2 with L of 3. Like this will continue. So now L of j with L of j plus 1. Okay. So L of j with L of j plus 1. Every time we are starting from 0, j value starts from 0 itself. Okay. J value starts from 0. Next, up to what extent we are repeating? J value is here means j plus 1 will be here. Right? J value is here, j plus 1 will be here. J value will not be here. Why? Because j plus 1 is not exist. Right? So j value should go up to last but 1. What is the last index? What is the last index? N elements if we have, last index will be n minus 1. So last but 1 index means n minus 2. So up to n minus 2 we will be repeating. Okay, for the first time j value will start from 0 up to n minus 2. In the second pass, j value will come up to this only. That is n minus 3. Next, in the third pass, n minus 4. In the ith pass, n minus I minus 1. Okay, up to this we will be repeating j value. In how many passes we will be having? We have discussed already. How many passes? n minus 1 passes. So j value starts from j value starts from 0 to n minus I minus 1. 0 to n minus I minus 1. What is I value? I value is nothing but the pass number. So first pass to how many passes? N minus 1 passes. I value starts from 1 to n minus 1. Next j value will vary from 0 to n minus I minus 1. Every time what we are comparing? Adjacent element, that is a of L of j with L of j plus 1. Whenever it is greater than, that is left side element is greater than right side element, then we are swapping. Swap of L of j with L of j plus 1. Right? This process we will be repeating. Finally, we will be printing L. Then we will get sorted list. Okay? Sit. Stand up. Why are not coming? How many days? 2 days. But how many? From how many days you are not coming? You. From how many days you are not coming? Why? You? Huh? Sit. Huh? Yesterday lab you attended? Late. Did he come yesterday? Okay. Please come regularly. Then you need not worry in the long run. Otherwise, you will worry. Definitely, you will regret why you didn't learn in the initial stage itself. Try to understand the impact of coming and attending regularly and attending the lab session. What's the reason? Why? Yeah. Already class timing also reduced. You understand? 1 hour to 1 hour, and we were having free time afterwards also. We used to take 1 hour 10 minutes like that. But now class timing itself 50 minutes, and we have another class will be there afterwards. So we cannot take even 5 minutes extra. So try to utilize the time. Try to get some benefit out of it. Otherwise, definitely you feel regret. That's for sure. Yeah. Now this is sorting problem, right? Next, we have why we are considering sorting problem. Why we are doing sorting problem? Anyone? Why we are doing sorting? We are considering like a list of numbers will be there. We have to arrange in either ascending or descending order. So why we are arranging? To reduce the. Any other answers? Huh? To get the required number easily. That's what. Okay, in the last class I have told you one example. A bunch of papers are there. Okay, randomly. Okay, in shuffled order you are having bunch of papers. You have to search for your paper. Then it is difficult. If you all the papers are in ascending order or descending order, some order, then you could able to pick your paper in less number of comparisons. In less time you could able to do it, right? So with that motivation only we have started this sorting. Okay. Now let us go back to the searching problem. Earlier, if we have list of numbers like 7, 17, 20, 25, 51, 2, like this, we are having several numbers. Okay. Now we wanted to check for the key. Let us say key is 37. Okay, how we will check? We will compare with this first one. If it is equal, then we can say key is found. If it is not present, then we will go to the next one. That is index of this one is 0, the index of this one is 1, next 2. Like this 0, the name of the list is L of 0 and key we will be comparing. If these two are equal, then we can say key is found and we can stop. We no need to compare with all other. Next, if it is not equal, then we will go to the next index. L of 1 equal to key or not, we will check. If it is not equal, then we will go to the next one. Like this we will repeat. Suppose if we have 100 elements in the list, 100 elements in the list, then for the given key, maximum number of comparisons will be 100. Why? Because we may need to search for all the elements. Okay, that is worst case. Or if I give the key which is not at all present in the list, then to conclude that key is not present in the list, we need to perform how many comparisons? 100 comparisons. All the elements we have to search. Instead, if you keep the list in sorted order, let us consider the same list in sorted order. What is the sorted order of this list? 2, 7, 17, 25, 37, 37, 51, 71. This is the sorted order. Now we have to search for an element which is not present in the list. Let us assume it is not present in the list, like 39. Okay, which is not present in the list. In order to conclude it is not present in the list, we have to perform these many comparisons. 1, 2, 3, 7 comparisons we need to do using earlier procedure. But by knowing that this list is in sorted order, what we can do is, first of all, we will be checking what is the mid element. Okay, what is the mid element in the sense, what is the index of first starting index is 0. What is the last index? 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 elements are there. So 0 to 6. So now what is the mid index? Mid index will be start plus end by 2. That will be mid index. So mid is equal to start plus end by 2. So 0 plus 3. So this is the mid element. Okay, mid index. What is the element that we are having? 25. So 25 and key value will be comparing. If these two are equal, then what we can say? Key is found and we can stop our searching process. Okay. So that is one thing. That is key is equal to, first we will calculate mid value, that is start plus end by 2. Right, start plus end by 2. Then we will be comparing whether key is equal to L of mid or not. Mid is the index position. What is the element? L of mid. So whether L of mid and key are equal or not, we will be checking that. That is, if key is equal to L of mid or not, we will check. If these two are equal, then key is found. Key is found, that we can print key is found. Okay, next. Else, then can we say key is not found? No. Why? Because 25 here we don't have that key, but entire list we don't know. We have to check, right? So if it is found, then we can stop here itself. That means, okay, we can use break. Otherwise, whether that key is 39, right? Is there any possibility that 39 present here? No, it will be present after 25 only, that we know. So we can start from here itself, right? Okay, instead of starting from 0, we can start from here. Entire list we have to consider, right? So end will be here only. What is the start, end? Initially start is 0, end is, if you have n elements, n minus 1. 7 elements, 7 minus 1, that is 6. Okay, so we will calculate mid value, we will compare, accordingly we will go. Next, afterwards, we have to check if mid or L of mid. L of mid. Mid is index. Okay, L of mid is actual element. So L of mid we have to compare. If L of mid is more than key, what does it mean? 25 itself is more than key. But according to this one we will go. So L of mid is less than key. So from where we have to start? We have to start from 4. What is this 4? Just after this mid. So if L of mid is less than key, then L of mid is less than key, then we have to start from mid plus 1. Okay, next to the mid position. So start is equal to whatever the start is S. So S value we have to update it as mid plus 1. What is mid? M plus 1. What about end? End will remain same. Suppose if the element that we wanted to search is instead of 39, consider 19. That is, if L of mid is greater than key, isn't it? If it is greater than key, then we will not be having here onwards, right? We'll, if we have, if at all, if we have the key in the list, that can be present here. That means we have to consider up to this only, right? So we can end here itself. What is, how we can write that? Mid minus 1. What we have to change? Start or end? End we have to change. So if L of mid is greater than k, then end is equal to, that is E is equal to M minus 1. Okay. Next, after changing start or end, we will be getting this kind of list. Okay, like if you have 100 elements, 50 elements we will be getting either first half or second half. Okay, 50 elements. Start will be somewhere, end will be somewhere. How we will search again? How we will search? 50 elements we are having. Now, start will be at 51, let us say. Start will be at 51, end will be at 100. Now, what we will do? Again, we have to find out mid value. How we can find out mid value? Start plus end by 2. Then we will get some mid value. Let us say 75. 75 is the index position. Then what is the value that we have? That we will be comparing with key. If it is equal, then we can stop. If it is not equal, then either in first half or second half, that we have to check it, isn't it? So this process only, right? We will be calculating mid value. We will be checking. We will be matching with the key. If it is matched, then key is found. Otherwise, we have to consider whether we have to go first half or second half. Okay, that we will be repeating. Up to what extent we have to repeat? This is the question. We are having 100. First time 50 we will get. Next 25 we will get. Isn't it? 75 we can eliminate. From 50, either first 25 or second 25 we will get, right? So only 25 elements will be remained. Next 12 elements. Next 6. Next 1. Next. So when we have to stop? This is the question. When we have to stop? When the key is, suppose key is not present, then index will be, suppose you consider 39, index 0 we are not, we are skipping in the first iteration itself. First time itself we are not considering this, right? There is no possibility that index will be 0. When mid gets 0, when mid can be 0, mid means start plus end by 2, when this can be 0? If this sum is 0, then only mid will be 0. So sum will not be 0, right? All the time sum cannot be 0. One more time. Try it. N minus 1. Okay, let us consider we are having 100. Okay, try to follow. These boundary conditions only you need to concentrate. That's why I am not putting anything on the board. If I put then you could able to visualize, but without that you should able to imagine. Then only logic will come. 100 elements are there. By comparing, by considering this one first time, we will be getting, let us say, second half. That is 51 to 100. Okay. Next, by comparing one more time mid value, let us say we are having 51 to 75. Okay. Now it is not n minus 1 also we have skipped. 0 also we have skipped. N minus 1 also we have skipped. Yes or no? Last index also we have skipped. Now we are having 51 to 75. Of course, 25 elements only. Again we will be getting first half. Again we will be getting first half or second half. Okay. Then 6 elements. Then 3 elements. Then 1 element. Then one element means start and end will be start and end will be same position, at same position. Then what will be the mid? Same position. Then we will check that element is equal to key or not. Okay, if it is equal, then we can say it is found. Otherwise, according to our procedure, we will be changing either start or end, right? By comparing with that mid element, suppose one element only there, start, end there only, mid will also be there only. Now we will be checking with that and we will be changing either start or end. Okay, automatically what will happen? It is like 0 to 99. We are reaching like this, 51 to 99. That is, start is coming towards the end. Next, 51 to 75. So end is coming towards the start. Next 25 elements we are having now. 12 elements means either it will go like this or it will go like this. Okay, now we are having 12 elements. Next 6, that means either this should go or this should go. So 6 elements. Next 3, same procedure. Next, finally we are having start, end here at the same position. Now this is not equal to the required key. This is not equal to required key. Then according to our procedure, either start will be mid plus 1. Where is the mid? Where is the mid? Same, right? So start is equal to mid plus 1. So it will come here. Yes or no? What is this? What is this? End. Yes or no? This is end. So start, end are meeting at one point. Now it is not equal to the key. Now we will be changing start as mid plus 1. So start is crossing the end. Other possibility is what? End will go to mid minus 1. End is equal to mid minus 1. Then also end and start are crossing each other. Then what we can conclude? What we can conclude? Key is not found. Understand? That is the logic. For this, you don't require any programming knowledge or anything. Just analyzing how we will be considering the numbers and what is the logic. That's it. So let us try to implement it. Of course, the same thing we will be writing formally. So what is the problem? Searching problem. How we are searching? What is the input for this problem? Input. First of all, list of numbers we have to take, then key. So what is the element that we wanted to search? So can you able to write the input? Number of elements n. Number of elements. How many number of elements you have to take? That is integer of input of enter number of elements. This is the difference. They have attended yesterday's lab, that's why they could able to answer. Actually, this I have explained in previous class itself, but there is some misconception. They could able to clear it by attending yesterday's lab. That's why you can observe the change. N is equal to, first of all, how many elements we wanted to take, that we have to take as input. So n is equal to input of enter number of elements. Okay, number of elements. Then what are those elements we have to take? N elements. What are those elements? So how we can, where we can store? In a list. So L is equal to empty list. Then A is equal to integer of input of enter element. So it will take one element. Okay, one element that we have to append to L. So L dot append of A. Next, again we will take another element, L dot append of A. Again we will take another element, we will be appending. So this process we will be repeating. So we have to put it in a loop. How many times this loop has to be repeated? N times. So I in range of N. Directly we can use N. So it will be repeated for N times. So these two statements are inside loop. So now we have got input. What is the other input that we have to take? Key. So key is also integer type of input. So key is equal to key is equal to integer of input of enter key to search. Enter key to search. Now we have got how many numbers, what are those numbers, and what is the element that we wanted to search. Understand? The input is like this. Yeah. This you can write anything other than A. Anything you can write. Why? Because this I we are not at all using inside loop. Understand? Why we are writing this one is to repeat these two statements. We wanted to repeat for how many times? N times. That's why we are using range of n. Okay, to keep track of how many times we have repeated so far, we are using this I. That's it. You can use J, you can use K, anything. Okay. If you use A, what will happen? If you use A here, same here we are using, then what will happen is one element we will be entering right here as input, that will be stored in A, then it will check, then it may terminate before what we intended. That's why you use some other variable. That's it. Yeah, clear till this point? Just we have taken input. Next, after taking the input, we need to start the procedure by considering start index as 0, end index as end n minus 1. So start is equal to 0, end is equal to n minus 1. Is this clear? Start is equal to 0, end is equal to n minus 1. Now, what we have to find out? Mid value. How we can find out mid value? Start plus end by 2. Why we are using parenthesis here? Because this slash operator is having more precedence, more priority, so it will be performed first. To avoid that, we are using parenthesis so that it will get more priority compared to this. Yeah. Now you tell. After finding the after finding the mid value, we will be checking whether that mid is having the that is if key is equal to L of mid value or not. Key is found, then we need not continue, so break. Next, if L of mid is less than key, then what we have to change? Start value we have to change as mid plus 1. So S is equal to M plus 1. Okay. Next. L of mid is else. Okay. Else. Can we need to check that if it is not equal, if it is not less than, then definitely it will be greater than only, right? So else only we can use directly. Then end is equal to M minus 1. Yeah. End is equal to M minus 1. Then what we will do afterwards? Again we have to find out mid value. So mid is equal to start plus end by 2. Start anyway we have updated, or end we have updated. So start plus end by 2, then we will be getting mid value. Afterwards, again we will be checking whether that is equal or not. If it is equal, key is found. Otherwise, we have to check whether it is greater than or less than. Okay. this process we have to repeat, right? We have to repeat, so we have to put it in a loop. How many times this process will be repeated? This is the question. Suppose if I give n by 4, n by 4, is it correct? Suppose if I give 40 elements, how many times it will be repeated? 40 times. 40 will come to 20, 20 will come to 10, 10 will come to 5, 5 will come to 2, 2 will come to 1. If start and end points are same, can we need to stop there? No, there can be a possibility that there only we can have key. Now, I told you now, whenever start and end crossed each other, then we have to stop. So how can we check that? Anyway, we are comparing, right? If let us assume start and end are equal, start and end are equal, what will be the mid? Mid will be same. Okay, now mid is same. Now key is equal to L of mid. It is not equal. It is not equal. So L of m is less than key or greater than key. It will be definitely one of these two conditions will be satisfied. If this is failed, one of these two will be satisfied. Now either start or end we will be modifying. So automatically start and end are at the same positions. But if you change automatically, start and end will cross. Either this will decrement or this will increment. So whenever start and end cross each other, then we have to stop. In general, start will be here, end will be here. Start will be here, end will be here. Understand? So start can be here, end can be here. But start should not be here, start should not be here, end should not be here. Got it? So what is the condition to check? How many times we don't know. Try to understand here the point. How many times we have to repeat? We cannot say statically, like 5 times only, 10 times only. It depends on the given number of elements, right? So how can we stop it? Start. Yeah, start is equal to see, start and end are here. Okay, now it can move here, start can move here, or end can move here. So in both the cases, what we can say? Start is e plus 1, or we can say start is greater than end, then we have to stop. Okay, suppose start is less than end, start is less than end, isn't it? So we have to continue. Start end, 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 stop. So start is less than end, we have to continue. Start is less than end, we have to continue. Start is equal to end, we have to continue. Start is greater than end, we have to stop. So as we don't know how many times we have to repeat the loop, we cannot use for loop. What we can use? While loop. We have discussed this thing, right? While loop is called event control loop. And what is the event to occur here? Start should cross end, that is the event. Until that event occurs, we have to repeat the loop. That's why we will be using here while loop. While what is the condition to repeat? Start and end relation. How we need to have? Start should be less than or equal to end, then we should repeat. Okay, so start should be less than or equal to end, then we will repeat. Next, here after completing the loop, we will be checking one condition, that if start is greater than end, what we can conclude? Key is not found. Okay, that is right. Print. Yeah. Up. Okay.
what you wrote there. Now from here, what you did is, for example, I take key as 40 and this is this. If key is less than index. For example, key is 40. Okay, it is more than index. Index is less. So I'll compare it to here only. If key is less than or 40 is less than 41, I won't compare. I'll break it here only. I'll put in key not found. If this is satisfied and key is more than this, I'll compare till it not gets over. Not gets over until if I found key is equal to index, I'll print key found. Else I'll write key is not found.
What is that I?
Sir, I don't know, sir. I is index value.
It is
Index, sir. Index of this.
index. So you are comparing every element, right?
For example,
How you are selecting this 40 directly?
I do key 40, sir.
Key is 40. Okay.
Start from here. I start comparing from here.
Okay.
Key is more than 23, I'll compare with 37. Key is more than 37.
So it is like suppose 1000 elements are there. All the 1000 elements you will be comparing, right?
If the key is more, I have to compare all the 1000.
That is the difficulty we have found, right? By using this mid and we could able to avoid 500 at a time. Next to 250 at a time we can avoid. So number of comparisons will be less. Did you noted? Why? Tell. This searching problem. Searching. I will tell you the name. Index. Better not to use. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You consider what is the input for this program? What is the input? Number of elements. First of all, we are taking number of elements. Then what are those elements we are taking? But these elements should be in sorted order. Then only we could able to execute this kind of procedure. Yes or no? So you consider entering these elements in sorted order. Okay, by default, while giving the input itself, you consider entering in sorted order. That's it. Then only this process will give result. Otherwise, even the key is present in the list, it will give it is not found. Yeah, any doubt? Noted, everyone? Yeah. What? Yeah. Whatever the program we have seen or the procedure we have seen, that is to solve searching problem, isn't it? That is to solve searching problem. What is searching problem? Given list of elements and the key, whether key is present in the given list or not, we have to check. That is searching problem. Now how we are solving this problem is, suppose if we have 100 elements, we are dividing the number of elements, or you consider n elements we are having, that we are dividing into n by 2. Okay, next we are dividing into n by 4. Okay, n by 2 by 2, n by 4. Next we are dividing into n by 8. Next n by 16. Every time what we are doing is n value we are dividing into n by 2, n by 2. Then we are considering only one, either this one or this one. Next, similarly, this n by 2 will be divided into n by 4, n by 4. Either this one or this one we will be considering. Similarly here also. So two parts we are getting. Every time we are dividing the list into two parts. Okay, either of those parts we are considering. Okay, this particular searching process we call it as technically binary search. Binary search. Earlier we have discussed that we will be checking one by one. That is called sequential search. Sequential search. The name itself indicating we will be checking 1, next 2, 3, 4 like this. All these elements sequentially we will be searching. That is called sequential search. Other name for this one is linear search. Okay, linear search or sequential search. This is called binary search. Why we are calling this one as binary search? Every time the elements are being divided into 2 sublists. List will be divided into 2 sublists. Either of those we will. That's why it is called as binary search. Yeah. Next, you consider simple thing. We will be giving n as the input or m and n as the input. For the given the program, m and n will be given. Okay. For the program m and n will be given, and we have to display what is the first factor of 7 between m and n. Write a program to display. Write a program to display first factor of 7. First factor of 7, not factor of 7. Sorry, first number which is divisible by 7. Yeah. Write a program to display first number which is divisible by 7. Okay, between the numbers m and n. Okay, from m to n we have to consider the numbers. Every number we have to divide with 7. Whether it is divisible by that 7 or not, we have to check. So how can we write? What is the input? Input will be m and n. So 2 elements we will be taking. So m is equal to list as the input. What is the program? Numbers from m to n. M to n, we need not take after m what will be the next number. Like that, we need not ask user, right? After m, we will be getting m plus 1, definitely. Understand? That's why we need not take all those numbers. Just what is m, what is n, if you know, that's enough. 5 to 15, whatever the numbers you have, what is the first 7 what you call multiple, you tell. 5 to 15, what is the first multiple? 7. 10 to 15, 14. You could able to say, right? I didn't give 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 10 to 15 I can say. So similarly here m and n we will be taking as input. That's enough. So m is equal to integer of input of enter first number. Okay, enter first number, that is m. Next, similarly n also we will write. Okay, don't use the same thing. Somebody is noting like this and trying to type. So n is equal to integer of input of enter second number, that is enter n. Next, afterwards we have got m and n. We have to consider starting from m up to n. So every element we have to consider, right? So how many times we have to repeat? Every element we have to divide with 7. So we have to repeat it in a loop for I in m comma n plus 1. N plus 1. Why we are saying n plus 1? Why? Because it will start at m, but it will stop at n plus 1 minus 1. Okay, it will not go up to n plus 1. Before that only it will stop. Okay, it is excluding this n plus 1. But requirement is m to n. That's why we are writing m comma n plus 1. Okay, 1 comma 5 if I write, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Now, what we have to check? I mod 7. What is the use of mod operator, remainder it will give. So I mod 7 equal to 0 or not. That is, it is divisible by 7. I is divisible by 7. Whenever we find such kind of number, what we have to do? Just we have to display that number and we can stop. Why? Because the requirement is first multiple of 7. So print I, then break. Print I, then break. Okay, if there are no factors exist, suppose I have given 8 to 13, 8 to 13, there is no 7 multiple. Then we have to no factor, no vertical, no 7 multiple we have to display. How can we display that? If I mod 7 is equal to 0, then we can display it. If you write else here, what will happen? If you write else here, I have given 8 comma 15. 8 is not divisible. 8 mod 7 is not equal to 0. Then it will not display this. But here what is it? Print no multiple of 7. Is it correct? No, right? Else we cannot use here. Understand? When we can conclude there is no multiple of 7, after entire loop completes, then only we can conclude. Okay. Meanwhile, suppose if I give 8 to 13, it will be repeated up to 13. 8 comma 14 it will be 8 comma 14. So 8 to 13 it will consider. So 8 we will divide. It is not equal to 0. 9 it is not equal to 0. 10 not equal to 0. 11, 12, 13 not equal to 0. So this will not be executed. Then automatically this loop will be terminated. Yes or no? This loop will be terminated. That is normal completion. But if I give 8 comma 15, then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, up to that it will be repeated. Then 14, then remainder is 0. Then it will print 14, break. That means it will stop. Actual repetition will start from 8 up to 15, but it is ending prior to that because of that break. So we need not print, there is no multiple of 7. Understand? In that case, whenever we use break, then we need not display, there is no multiple of 7. Whenever the loop is terminated normally, normal in the sense from m to n we have repeated, still we didn't find any factor, then we have any multiple, then we can conclude that there is no multiple of 7. So this particular else we will be writing here. Try to understand. Else we will be writing here for this for. Okay, this alignment should be, this should be aligned with for. That means whenever this loop is terminated normally, not by using break, then this else will be executed. Simple thing. If we use break, then if whenever break is executed, then else will not be executed. Okay. If there is no break, then there is no functionality difference. Whether you are having else or not, there is no difference. If we have else in the loop, whenever else is break is not executed, whenever we are having break in the loop and break is not executed, then only else will be executed. That is, whenever loop is terminated normally, loop is intended for 10 times, let us say. All the 10 times, if you repeat, then it will stop, right? Then if you want to execute some statement, that you can enclose in else. Okay, all the 10 times we intended to repeat for 10 times. Whenever we find something, then we will stop in the middle, even 9th time or 10th time. Okay, if you use break there, then it will not execute else. Simple thing. Don't consider here, listen orally. We wanted to repeat a loop for 10 times. 10 times. Then after repeating for 10 times, loop anyway it will stop, it will terminate. That is normal termination of the loop. Okay. Afterwards, if you write else, then after completing 10 times, it will execute else. Clear? Now, inside this for loop, how many times it is being repeated? 10 times. if you put a condition, if condition, then break. Okay, this particular break executed after 8 times. After 8 times break executed, then this else part will not be considered. Why? Because loop didn't terminate, loop has not terminated normally. Whenever loop is terminated normally as intended, like 1 to 10 means 10 times if it is completed, then only else will be executed. This is a straightforward. You remember this one sentence, that's it. Loop is repeating for 10 times means all the 10 times if you repeat, then only else will be executed. Okay, if break is executed, then else will be ignored, else will not be executed. Okay, this is pertaining to the else that we use with respect to for. Okay, if else, that is different. If else, you know already the functionality. Whenever this condition is true, if will be executed, otherwise else will be executed. That is different. But else we are using specifically here with for, then this functionality. Normal completion means else will be executed. Forcible termination means else will not be executed. That's it. Okay, so else, what we can write here? No multiple of 7. Got it? This is the functionality of else. Yes, any doubt regarding this else? What's the next class? English. Here only, or you have to go? 12:10 or 12:20? 10 only. Okay, online people enter your roll number.